Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. I am Vinnie Suds, along with Kim, as we all are ready to talk about the Emmy Award-winning web soap, the ECW of the soap opera genre, The Bay. Kim, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just, enjoying, well, I don't know, the kind of scattered weather we have going here. Got caught in the rain on the way home from work today, which was a
Oh,
little, wasn't expecting that. But it's, aside from that, though, nothing really to report. Just, was really, this episode kind of blew me away. And, it was fun to catch up on that after a crazy day at work. So,
it was definitely a great episode. It was definitely a great escape from the woes of the day. Um, But before we get into that, I do want to go ahead and reiterate something that I talked about on Monday night on Suds News. Is that we have the information set for the 2026 uh, Sudsy Awards, and this what we're going to be doing is setting the dates out now. In that Monday, June 1st, 2026, we're going to be doing our Sudsy nomination special where we announce all the nominees for the Sudsy Awards during Suds News. And we're also going to be doing Suds News that night. So it's going to be a twofer that night. We'll be interspacing the announcement of the nominees with General Hospital News and go on from there. And then on Sunday, August 9th. Oh, is it going to be the 9th? Yes, it is. Sunday, August 9th, we are going to be doing the Sudsy Awards live. So we're going to let everybody know on June 1st. Then you'll have the entire month of June to vote via the Google Doc or Google form, I should say, that we're going to put out like we did last year. And then you'll have 1 month, the entire month of June, to vote for the Sudsy Awards. And then on August 9th, we will be doing them live.
very
Um, yes,
something
it
to look
is.
forward to.
It's going to be an exciting night for the Sudsies this year. We're also not only are we doing the soap opera categories like we did last year. We did the wrestling categories last year. We're also, because of the inclusion of Veronica and Tori Sloan, the Sloans, in our Suds and Squared Circle Media family, we're also going to be doing two independent wrestling categories as well, male and female indie wrestler, which is something totally new for me. But that's where they corner the market. So make sure to tune in them. That's the Sloans. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook and Twitch, and they are part of the Suds and Squared Circle Media family. A lot of their stuff is going to, a lot of their stuff is now going to have their archive on Suds and Squared Circle Media YouTube, suds-media.com. But also, we're going to be airing their replays on our X account, which is at Suds Media. So make sure to stay tuned to all of that. All right, and I'm having a problem with this background today. So give
Oh,
me 1 moment. Yeah, it keeps cutting off my arms, as you can see. Maybe that's from wearing a tank top, and it doesn't like this flesh
hey,
tone.
for what it's worth, my background's cutting off my hair, and I'm cutting off the Y in Bay.
You don't have to worry
So,
about that. So, anyways, all right, folks, let's get into it. Let's get into the Bay. We are on season 8, episode 7, and what a fantastic episode!
oh my gosh. I mean, just, and I think I looked at the total. It was about 20 minutes, give or take. And it ended on such a cool note,
It
which
did.
we'll obviously get to that point. But I just, it felt like a different level of soaping for some reason. It almost felt like we were watching more of like, just like a cool procedural or something like that. And I was just kind of blown away by that.
And
But
that's what I said last week is that the Bay, even though it is a soap opera because of the genre that it's in, based on whatever criteria the Daytime Emmys gives it, um, it is a psychological thriller. It's a drama. It's a crime procedural it is everything just all wrapped in one.
And really blend in all those different elements. And heck, you just mentioned even like, psychological thriller, kind of mystery, kind of, I mean, gosh, the scene with we have 1 minute we're talking about psychics. We have another minute where we got a SWAT team checking out there's all sorts of, elements that were at play here, and made for some really, really good scenes, really, really good moments, all crammed into 20 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. But we also got some, just some like grounded sort of sad human drama in the mix as well. I mean, we had the scenes with oh my goodness, Zoey, and with Avery, and it's just, it was rounded out so well. I thought the whole episode, just, it went from one to the other very seamlessly. We know all these characters, we know where they're at, but just seeing the different levels of story that were at play in each of these, like, kind of, the A story, B story, C story, what have you. It was great. It was great. And it only took 20 minutes. So,
and you know what? It's still under the same umbrella story. And that's what I'm absolutely loving about, about the Bay. Now, of course, they are branching out into different style or different branches of the story. That's the word I'm looking for. Because while Avery and Zoey are talking about, Damien and the fact that Damien was going to propose when he, when he got
did shot. We know that? We didn't know that, did we? Or no, did we? I
think we knew about the ring already.
Wasn't there? I want to say there was a scene like, he was in the car or something like that, trying, like, he was about to pick her up. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember. I made a note of it. I was just like, did we know or didn't we? Either way, it was, just heartbreaking seeing, in her not knowing if she should give up the ring, if she should, keep it, be married to someone she can never be. It was just, that was so poignant and devastating. It was.
And, it just, you could feel the sadness and feel the grief coming off.
Yeah. And they're still letting it play out. They're not just like, sweeping it under the rug in favor of the drama, in favor of the action. No, there's still real life consequences of what happened. He was a significant character, and they're giving him his due, and they're being respectful of that. And some shows just have a tendency to just kind of kill off willy-nilly, but at least with this, it's like, no, okay, we're going to actually take a beat and acknowledge the fact that, yes, this man was, about to be married and had this whole life ahead of him. Because them tying in, when they were kind of recapping all the folks that were involved with the shooting, it just, it brings, they brought you back there. They were bringing back all the faces. They were saying, so-and-so shot so, it's like, it's keeping it fresh in our minds.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely is. And, we know that Zoey and Avery are kind of on the periphery, right? Because Zoey was the officiant at the wedding. Avery was at the wedding. We know that Sara and Lex were celebrating their own way for New Year's Eve that day. Mm-hmm. And then Pete, we know, was in the car on the way to the wedding with Vivian.
Yes.
So it, well, actually, they were on the way to the hospital because she was about to give birth.
Right, right. And then they got stuck on the side of the road, the whole crazy mask. The psychological thriller aspect really comes into play when you see a man with a skull mask running in the direction of a car.
Yep. And he takes it off, and it's a complete, mirror image of the person, and it's like looking in a mirror. Yeah. But overall, I mean, we see the branches coming down. We see how Adam Kenway affects the entire story right now of Bay City, of the Bay. And the way that we start and we see, Dre talking to Nardo, and the, the other girl detective, I can't remember her name, but
yes.
The way that she's talking to them, and she's like, no, that looks nothing like how I entered the building. Like the whole layout is wrong. It was abandoned and blah, 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 blah. And we'll get to it, but I have a theory about something. But the way that she's looking at it, like, she's trying to be like, she wanted in. She wanted her story. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean at the root of it all, she's a journalist, and she's like, she's got that dogged determination to just, get the story, find the facts, get to the bottom of stuff. So, and I loved just Nardo, Pete acknowledging, hey, she's your daughter? Well, she's got chutzpah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, long story.
Yeah. And Nardo just long story. But yes.
And he thanks her for coming forward, and
and he's trying to just wrap it all up in a neat little bow for her, and she's like, no, absolutely not. I need to, be in the action alongside you guys to help you figure this out. Like, there's no way you're just going to let me sit on the sidelines for this. And I really appreciated that. They've taken Dre, because she was kind of on the periphery when, she was, but she did rescue Sara. She had kind of a significant sort of bit there. Obviously there's the connection with Evan as well. But I really like the fact that she's just now showing that journalist sort of like chutzpah, for lack of a better word. And we get to see that side of her as well. You can tell she's definitely coming into the fold in a big way.
You're absolutely right. And the way that Pete's, going on and saying that, we need her there. And Nardo's like, all right, under one condition, you lead us there, and then you stand to the side. And then they're getting ready to get suited up, and Pete's like, all right, let's go. And Nardo's like, Pete, you don't have to go. And he's like, let's go, I'm going. And the woman detective goes, did you think that was going to, no, and then Dre's like, I'm going too. And like, why don't we just go grab sandwiches and have a picnic?
Yeah. I love Nardo. He gets the best, little one-liners. I mean, between him and Lex, they just get, these little lines, these little, it's great.
I love the way that Nardo. Well, I love the way that Nardo's character has evolved over the
me too.
Seasons that he's been on, because he was literally just Leanna's grandfather.
Yeah, I mean, he came back for the trial and everything, and so that we knew his backstory. They brought him in, but then they kind of definitely shifted him into the grandfather role for Liana, just because she needed that familial support. She needed that someone in her corner, and those made for some great scenes. But it's interesting to see now that we aren't really seeing much of Liana right now, that Dre is his daughter. The reveal, with that, it's like he still gets to play that paternal, sort of, but he also gets to be the cop too. So he gets to kind of wear two hats. Which is
and it's like
great.
He's going in.
I mean, the more A. Martinez that we see, the better. Let's be real.
And it's like he's going in reverse, because he came back as a retired grandfather, and now he's back as the acting commissioner or whatever, and back in gear, and now he's as a father. We find out that she's his daughter, so he's literally going backwards.
Yep, a little bit, but it made for some really good scenes. It's funny too, though. You were talking about just how Adam is obviously affecting everything in town, but we get to see Adam pretty affected by, we get to see a little bit more layer peeling off of him a little bit, especially with his attraction to Dre, which I mean, obviously, he's all about well, I'm going to risk staying in this location and just kind of sticking around town because, hey, pretty lady showed up, and
I mean, she definitely wanted to risk his safety for.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because we see Belinda coming in with the lawyer talking to Adam, and Adam, I gotta ask. I should have asked Christos. Is that him working out for real, or is he having stunt doubles, or is he?
God.
I
think he is just.
I mean, I couldn't do chin-ups or stuff like that, and he's balancing upside down on his arms, and it's just.
No, I think that I don't think it was a stunt double personally, but that's just
maybe not a stunt double, but having someone hold him or wires or maybe.
Well, you never know. You never know. The thing is, I mean, he certainly, he just seeing him in the dual role also gives us an excuse to see him, with the tats, different styles,
Yes.
So it's kind of, I can appreciate that. We got the, tats up and down the arm, and then like the bleach. I loved it. Was kind of cute too. There's a scene with when Pete is like at the top of the episode.
Yeah.
When Pete is kind of like running off, he's got like this electric neon green T-shirt on, and he's running. It's almost like he's like a little kid superhero, you know. And then they cut to Adam, and he's wearing like the black vest, and he's got like the tats and everything. It's just wildly different, and it just shows the contrast even in the wardrobe, and it just cracked me up.
Well, even the hair, because Adam's hair is darker. Like Pete literally lightened his hair up. Christo's lightened his hair up to show the distinction between Pete and Christo and Adam.
And I love how Drea pointed it out. Well, if you were blonde and had a British accent, tattoos.
Right. Yeah. If you had tattoos and had a British accent, yeah. I don't think you. Yeah. No, because Pete is blonde right now. Adam is not. Adam has
right.
Hair.
Right.
But
like,
yeah.
We're just pointing out the fact that, like, yeah, you guys have the same face.
Right. Exactly. That was actually a really good line. But you know, Adam's working out, and Belinda and the lawyer come in, and you know, he's like, Belinda's like, or no, I think the lawyer was like, "How was your stay at the 5-star, you know, Crown Plaza?"
Yeah, 5-star hotel, 5-star resort, whatever.
And like the Bay City Motel is hardly 5 stars, but it's better than what Adam stayed in.
Yeah. I wonder if they were kind of chem testing Kaufman and Belinda a little bit.
Possibly.
I don't know. I was getting kind of a vibe between the two of them.
I mean, hell, they've had a vibe between Adam and Belinda since the beginning.
That's true. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. There's a little, I don't know, I could just kind of, maybe it's just because Adam was so smitten with Drea, you know. That's the first time we've really seen, like, he was just like kind of pondering, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna like risk it's just, they were really laying it on like thick, like he is into her.
And here's my theory, and before we get to my theory, folks, if you're into somebody that's not reciprocating your feelings, and you feel like you need someone to talk to, I've got someone who you can talk to.
Are you having problems in the bedroom? Are you having problems with your sex life? Well, I know just who to talk to, and that's Lori. CoachingByLori.com is where you can set up voice, video, or text sessions to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, kinks, fetishes, taboos, fantasies, or your sexuality. You could talk about coming out and what to expect when you come out. Lori is a sex therapist and talks about your sexual health. Lori's offering all new clients 20% off their first session with the coupon code WELCOME. That's Coaching by Lori, LORIE.com. Coupon code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session.
All right, and we're back. And now on to my theory.
Yes.
At the end of the episode, we see the SWAT team, you know, go into the building, and you know, Dre is leading the kind of in front with Pete, and they get to the room. She took them to the wrong room on purpose.
Twisty.
Because if you notice, in the room that Adam was staying in, there was a bar there. There was exercise equipment.
That's true.
It was that she brought them to an empty bar. Now, unless she's really that ditzy and brought him to, you know, got lost somehow, she brought him to the wrong room on purpose.
That is, you know, that's
very,
you know, yes.
Protect her story, possibly get an exclusive with Adam. I think she.
No, that definitely tracks. And I admit it didn't until you mentioned it. It didn't click, but no, that definitely tracks.
Because
that would make obviously they're playing into the connection. They're playing into Adam being into her. They're definitely, you know, on the on ramp for like, you know, I got to get to the bottom of this, you know, this big bad villain. Figure out this story. Figure out what's going on, and kind of falling under his spell, but his also falling. You could definitely see it, them having that sort of connection, even though this guy is like a crazy killer, psycho guy, you know, what have you.
Yep.
Her just, you know, being determined to get to the bottom. Yes. I could see her kind of, you know, just wanting to not protect him, but just, keep what's going on, keep the I'm having trouble articulating, but just in the sense that she really does want to like just kind of preserve what's going on in her way, so like almost so she can stay on her track of figuring out this story and figuring out what's going on and not have it all disrupted and thrown off by her father, who happens to be the lead investigator / cop in the whole bit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it's more to protect her story, not necessarily stay involved in, the search or whatever. But she knows that Adam's in town.
Yeah.
And now she can go to him and say, "Hey, I didn't turn you in."
Yeah. Just kind of keeping her involvement, in the whole situation.
Well, yeah.
And also, but separating out trying to break away from the police, break away from the investigation a little bit in order to do her own thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Preserve what, she has going and see if she can like get to the bottom. Yeah. Cause like that's her MO. We know that Adam's, kind of drawn to her. She probably picks up on that fact and is probably just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try and, root this out on my own but that's a really, it's a layer. That's a wrinkle that I didn't quite pick up on until you mentioned it, but it makes a lot of sense.
So, they get him to the room, and Nardo goes to the woman, the other detective, like, is this bullshit or is this bullshit? She's like,
yeah,
it's bullshit. And he's like,
I love that line delivery was great, by the way, when he was saying that. Is this bullshit or is this bullshit? I made a note of that.
Yeah. And he's like, I want everything dusted. I want the chain link fence dusted. I want the ladder dusted. I want everything dusted for prints. And I can guarantee you they're not going to find any.
Yep. Yeah. Because they were definitely making a big point of like, with the map and this is the map. This is the place. This is the way. And then she's like, no, they're definitely making a big point of Dre knowing the way and then her using that to her advantage.
Absolutely. Because it also threw the audience off because we remember it was Dre coming out of that alleyway. So she went into a different door, or they shot it from a different angle and they still went into the same door. I couldn't tell either way.
Yeah. That was a little, but no, they've definitely made a point of like, she was the only one there and she's, holding all the cards here. And
to be fair, I think this is where she got that idea. When Pete said, how do we know he's still even there? We have to act now because as they were saying, well, now that we have the intel, let's get the team together. Let's, wait it out. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, they're going to, as soon as she said, you know what, Pete's right. And she realized she can, lead them to a different room instead of, having the SWAT team find Adam and friends. That's when she figured out, oh, I could get out of this. And you know what? It works out because Pete brought it up first. That's
true. Look at that. So much layered in just some brief little kind of sequences. But it's all right there. We're digging. We're putting on our investigator hats just like Dre.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of investigation, though, too, I mean, just because, we did have, obviously, the great, like, kind of, back and forth involving Adam and, the scenes involving, everything with him. But Sara and Lex having that discussion was also a pretty pivotal moment.
Yeah.
It was a short scene, but it was still, just, I love them so much. I love seeing them. But they had a pretty heavy discussion, too.
They did. They had a really heavy discussion because, they had the guards come out, and at first Pete goes to the guard that's guarding Vivian, saying, "This is my wife. You guard her."
Oh yeah.
And blah blah blah. Which
my beloved wife.
Yeah, which I get how pissed off he is.
Oh, of course,
but
yeah.
At the time, I would think the cop would be like rolling his eyes. I have my orders. I protect and serve. I'm going to protect her no matter what, regardless of what they say.
But
he's emotional, we know.
Yeah, but he could just tell. He was looking at Pete, looking at Vivian, and just like, I'm just going to take what this man is saying with, it's what it is. I know what I have to do. I know it's everything that needs to be done. he needs to get this off his chest because clearly he's stressed out of his mind at the thought of leaving the hospital, knowing full well that his rival with his face is out and about and, you know, running around the city like nothing ever happened. So,
and then, you know, we get Sara getting, you know, her vitals checked, and you know, the doctor says
that beeping in the background was very prominent, by the way.
You know what? I didn't even hear it.
Oh no, maybe it's because I was watching it. I had watching it on my phone and I had headphones going, but all I could hear, I just kept on hearing the hospital beep in the background. I was like, well, they're paying attention to detail.
I didn't even hear it. But you know, after Sara gets her vitals done, the nurse says, "You should be out of here soon. I don't know when, but soon. You're healing up nicely." Lex comes in. Sara asks him why the guard is out there.
Yeah,
and he tells her, you know, Adam is in Bay City. And then Sarah's, I mean, I know that she's kind of been more of a supporting actress in the past couple of years, but you know, for her to say, "Oh, he's in Bay City. Can I go see him?" And Lex is like, "No." Like,
you mean the man that tried to kill you? Like,
yeah.
He just, you know, he lays it out so, and Tristan Rogers, God bless that man. I mean, he just, you know, his line delivery there, no one can just articulate that, like, frustration mixed with just pure, like, disbelief. Like, he's just like, what are you thinking? What are you, you know, he just, oh gosh, what a gem. I miss him.
Yeah. You know, and Sara, to her credit, does say, "Well, he's my son. I've never met him, and I want to ask him why."
You know, it's very valid. It's not as if this guy is just some random ass serial killer. I mean, this is her son, and she has been literally, like, you know, kept in the dark about him. She's been blindsided by an imposter. But, you know, there's been so much murkiness involving her other child.
Yes,
this is her flesh and blood child, and she has just been strung along in all this crazy weirdness between everything with Jensen, now everything that Adam has done. I mean, she just wants to, like, look her kid in the eye and be like, what is happening right now? Like, what is our situation?
Right.
And it's just it's tough just seeing her like so like sidelined. Like, she's still stuck in that hospital bed. She still can't get answers that she wants. And every time that, like, she tries, someone interrupts or something happens, and it's like they're in the, you know, on the cusp of having this. She just wants to see her son and figure out why the hell he tried to shoot her and kill her, obviously. But, like, it makes sense, you know. If it was just some random guy that had been targeting her, like a stalker or something like that, different story. But she has every right to, like, want to see him and look him in the eye. But Lex is just, you know, just being like, the man who tried to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I thought that was a really good scene, and it kind of gave both perspectives, where Lex wants to protect her and be like, "No, he tried to kill you," but she's like, "I want to know why. I want to, you know, he's my son. I've never met him. I want to know why."
Well, she also is getting, you know, she's gotten a lot of answers from Sophia, and her bringing up Sophia and going to bat for her in terms of what, you know, wanting Sophia in on, like, you know, this investigation, and just her mentioning that, you know, oh, well, she knew I was in the in-between. She knew I was with Lee. And then you get to see Lex a little bit like, wait, you were with Lee?
Yeah.
A little bit of jealousy for her in-between time with her ex there. But even so, you know, Sarah's just, she's just almost, you see, like, the desperation. She's just trying to, like, cling on to something. And Sophia, at least, is giving her answers. Sophia, at least, is, like, providing her with information that she needs, whereas Lex is just in protective mode and hasn't been able to, like, give her, you know, what, and she just wants to see her son, and she just wants to get to the bottom of everything, and she's just stuck.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Hey, at least the Bay is actually utilizing, you know, even a stuck Sara, who is, you know, powerless in a hospital bed. I don't know. She has more to do than Kayla Brady does these days.
Well, that's true.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. I won't go into a full rant, but yeah, at least the Bay knows how to use an actress like Mary Beth Evans in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Like
But either way, I think we kind of covered it. We covered everything, just three very different arcs. We talked about Zoe and Avery's
Mhm.
conversation. We talked
Yeah.
about the SWAT team, and we talked about Lex and Sara. Any final thoughts?
Just I'm still stuck on your theory, how it kind of didn't really click for me until you mentioned it, and now it makes so much sense. And now I'm really curious to see if that thread is going to get play out, which it makes so much soapy sense for it
Yes.
too, that I feel like now we're on track for it. But I admit it took you mentioning it for it to really like sink into my brain. So
All right. All right. Well, folks, we are done talking about this episode. We'll be back next week, and I will say, when we get done, because we're on season 8, we're going on to episode 8. I think what we might do next week, instead of continuing on the Bay, we'll take the week and we'll watch The Raven, and then we'll talk about that.
that'll be a good kind of halfway point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll so instead of it being Dockside,
Instead of your usually scheduled programming.
right, next week we will be scheduling a simulcast. I have to base it around my work schedule, so I'll have to figure that out, and we'll have to do, because we'll do a watch along on TikTok, and then we'll go ahead and the episode of Dockside at the Bay that you'll see next week, it will be about The Raven, which Gregory J. Martin produced and directed. We'll have to find it and take care of it. So, anyways, so Kim, where can everybody find you?
I'm Misfit8690 on Twitter and a Little Misfit52 on YouTube. Feel free to follow me there to discuss soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
Fantastic. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Vinnie Suds. At Suds Media is our Network X account. So that is where you get all your programming updates, and you see these shows as well. On, let's see, Instagram and Threads, it's at Suds and Squared Circle. Let's see, what else? Suds and Squared Circle Media is also on Facebook, so you'll go follow that page as well. And you can join our community over there, our group, Suds and Squared Circle Media. Let's see, on TikTok and Twitch is at Suds_Media. But for all of our advertisers, affiliates, and sponsors, all their links are on our Linktree, which is linktree.suds-media.com, and for everything. Make sure to like this video. Go to suds-media.com, which brings you to our YouTube channel.
Show us some love.
Absolutely. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then turn on the notification bell. And if you're feeling froggy, you can go ahead and give us a super chat, a super thanks, or super sticker. If you're watching this on YouTube, on a desktop, or even on your phone, there is a box with a $sign in it. You click that, you could send us a super chat or a super thanks or a super sticker, whatever you want to send. It does help support the network. And if you do, you get entered to win a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. Every super gives you one entry into it every month for the year of 2026. But we are out of time, folks. So for Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we sit Dockside at the Bay with the Raven. So have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.